Having understood psychoanalytical theory, we shall try to understand how psychoanalytic theory uh, is applied to literary criticism in the study of literature. So, literary criticism, which adopts the psychoanalytic theory, is called psychoanalytic literary criticism. This criticism adopts the method of reading employed by Sigmund Freud and later psychologists in the interpretation of texts. While reading the text, this theory is applied. Why a particular character behaves like that? What makes the character to act like that? So that is understood by using this psychoanalytical theory. So this criticism, which adopts psychoanalytic theory, argues that literary texts, the way we understand dreams, for example, dreams are the result of the happenings on the level of unconscious, whatever happens in the unconscious mind without being aware of. In the same manner, literary texts, a poem, a novel, a short story, expresses or literary texts express the secret unconscious desires and anxieties of the author. Means every literary text is an expression of this repressed because of the ego and superego, your feelings in the id, your animal instinct, your drives are repressed, desires are repressed. Okay, and literature or literary text gives an outlet to the secret unconscious desires and anxieties of the author. So it means a literary work is a manifestation of the author's own neurosis. A literary text, a work is a kind of dream. Okay, it is a manifestation, a display of author's mind. Whatever happens in his brain, that is brought out. This criticism approaches an author's work as a kind of textual talk therapy. The way we understood, a patient is made to work by the psychiatrist. In the same manner, the author work is a kind of talk therapy. The way psychoanalytical therapy is adopted. So one may psychoanalyze a particular character within a literary work. One can study the mind of a character. But it is usually assumed that all such characters are projections of the author's psyche itself. The author's mind is manifested through those characters. It is the assumption. I'm again making you aware of the fact that these are theories, and these theories are presented by different theorists, but they are not the ultimate truths as such. These theories are opposed by others. Okay, so like psychoanalysis itself, the critical endeavor means this criticism, psychoanalytic literary criticism, tries to seek evidences of unsolved emotions, psychological conflicts, guilt, ambivalences, and so on within the author's literary work. It tries to focus on the emotions which are resolved. Sorry. Then there can be psychological conflicts. When we talk about Hamlet, Hamlet's mind is split. He is always in a confused state of mind. There is a conflict in his mind, to be or not to be. Then there is a guilt consciousness. Macbeth, for example, Lady Macbeth and Macbeth undergo this experience. They undergo the emotional guilt. There is a kind of ambivalence as well. Okay, a kind of what we call oscillation or vacillation, uh, a movement from this to that, from one side of mind to another side of mind. Okay, so this is what happens, and all is understood in the context of the author. So the author's own childhood traumas, family life, sexual conflicts, fixations, and such will be traceable within the behavior of the characters in the literature. That's what it believes. Okay. So, despite the importance of the author here, psychoanalytical criticism is similar to new criticism. Okay, uh, which might know new criticism proposed by uh, the American critic we studied recently. So, it is similar to new criticism in not concerning itself with what the author intended. Okay, Clint Brooks we understood in the last semester. Clint Brooks focuses only on the text. It does not concern with what the author intends. So it's similar. What the author intends is not important for them. What the characters think, how they think. So what the author never intended is repressed. What is seen that is not sought. What is not shown, what is repressed, that is sought, that is understood. So the unconscious material has been distorted by the censoring conscious mind. That's what they feel. Because whatever you see in the text is censored. The author must have thought of what the society thinks, what will author think. So he writes only the things which are acceptable. He or she. The psychoanalytical criticism tries to go or understand the things which the author has not told over there, because they think that the text which we read is something which the author has distorted. It is not original. Okay, there is some deeper meaning in that which is not seen easily. So the psychoanalytic analytic criticism tries to bring it out. So these critics will ask such questions: what is Hamlet's problem? Why can't Bronte seem to portray any positive mother figures? Bronte sisters, you might know, Emily Bronte, Charlotte Bronte, etc. So all these means why is Hamlet, why does Hamlet behave like that? Why can't Bronte seem to portray any positive mother figures? In their stories, we do not come across a positive mother figure. What must be the reason behind it? So they try to understand the relationship between writer, reader, and text, the focus. So this is how we understand psychoanalytic literary criticism. In the next lecture, we shall get introduced with Leonard Trilling, and then we shall go ahead with his essay, Freud and Literature.